fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego, and a happy Tuesday to everybody out there in America's finest city. It's time for playoff baseball here for the San Diego Padres. I'm Braden Surprenant. He's Frank Marchese. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We only got an hour show today because we're leading you into the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show with Sam Levitt. Playoff baseball is upon us here in San Diego. I'm fired up. I'm excited. If you're not, I don't know what's going to get you excited. You got Padres and Cubs coming up at noon as the Padres will start what will be their campaign to win 13 games and try to win a World Series. They've made the playoffs now for the second time in a row, for the first time since 05-06. It's been a long time. It's been the first time, by the way, that they've won 90 games in consecutive seasons. When talking about the postseason for the Padres, and we're going to get into a lot of it. We only have an hour show, and Greg Amsinger is going to join us next from MLB Network to talk about this particular series and the other series around Major League Baseball. But when you look at the playoffs, this is what you have to, this is the view you got to have. For everything that we've talked about in terms of like lineup construction, for everything we've talked about, and this guy can't start as a pitcher, this guy can't come out of the bullpen, you can't trust this player, that player, whatever it may be, the attitude changes now because it is just about winning and winning games and doing whatever it takes to win 2 in Chicago and hopefully be able to welcome the boys back next week for the divisional series. This is going to be a tough series, I think, against Chicago. I mean, you could talk all you want about it. The Padres have not done well on the road against good teams this year. I heard Chris Ello talking about that last night. The other thing that I'd like to throw out there is the fact that most teams don't do very well on the road against good teams. That kind of is the case. I agree with Mike Schilt yesterday in his press conference. It's not like they've been terrible on the road. They've been serviceable on the road. They've been competitive on the road. But now it relies on Nick Pivetta. And you look at this Padres roster that they have put together. We don't have too much time, obviously, on our show to fully break it down. But we'll look at it in just a second. The lineup is already out for the Padres. An earlier game than we're used to seeing in the postseason, right? Here in the midweek. But this Padres team has just the same fairly chance as everybody else in Major League Baseball. And this is the thing. Like, I saw a lot of dooming yesterday. I saw a lot of dooming, at the end of the season, near the end of the season. Well, this isn't our best put together. I'm telling you right now, everybody's dealing with injuries. Everybody's dealing with a lot of different things. Nobody has a perfect team. Nobody in Major League Baseball right now is just a clear-cut, nobody's going to beat this team. This contest and this postseason is wide open. The path for the Padres is laid out in front. They got to take 2 out of 3 in Chicago. They got to win 3 out of 5 against Milwaukee. And then who knows what they'll see in the National League Championship Series. It could be the Dodgers. It could be the Phillies. It could be the Reds. I don't think it's going to be the Reds, but it could be the Reds. And then who knows what you might be able to play in the World Series. But here's what you need to understand about postseason baseball. There's a couple of things. It's 2 seasons. You had your marathon season. That's the regular season. This is the sprint time. This is the time where you cash in with playoff experience. And the Padres have a lot of it. The Cubs don't have as much. The only playoff experience that the Cubs have come from their kind of first couple of guys in the order. Other than that, There's a lot of players on that team that haven't had a lot of playoff experience. As for the Padres, almost every single player on their team has playoff experience. This thing is wide open. Anybody that disagrees with that, I'm sorry to tell you, there's no team that's super dominant in Major League Baseball that nobody can get through. It's a different mentality. It's a different level. It's a different game. To be honest with you, it's almost a different sport. Not only does a lot of these players on this Padres team have playoff experience, they have playoff experience with each other from going to back-to-back postseasons now. That's going to be a huge factor in this series, I think, against the Chicago Cubs. It's just a different level. And whatever team embraces the moment is going to be the team that wins this series. Embracing the moment, embracing the opportunity, taking on the hostile Wrigley Field crowd. That's what the Padres have to do. And here's the thing again. You have to enjoy it every single time that you can. Anytime you make the playoffs in Major League Baseball, you have a chance. You have a chance. And this might be your best chance, and you don't even know it for the next 5 or 6 years. This could be the best chance that the Padres have. It could not. Maybe they could get a good chance again next year. Maybe they have everybody healthy next year in the lineup, but you have no idea. You got to ride with what you got. And this is what you have. As we look at the roster that the Padres have put together. Now, they've elected to go with 12 pitchers on their wild card roster. And here's the thing. They have a lot of players, right, that are traveling with the team. If they get added due to an injury, the player that gets taken off the roster is ineligible for the next round. So that's something to think about when you look at this roster. Again, this is not the roster set in stone for the entire playoffs. This is just the roster for this wild card series. The Padres are going with 12 pitchers. Dylan Cease, Michael King, David Morgan, Bradley Rodriguez, all making the team. Yu Darvish, Mason Miller, Wandy Peralta, Robert Suarez, Jeremiah Estrada, Adrian Morejon, Nick Pivetta, Randy Vasquez. Those are the 12 pitchers you have to use in these 2, potentially 3 games to win a series. We already know that Nick Pivetta is going today, and we already know that Dylan Cease is going tomorrow. And we'll see what happens when it comes to game 3. But I'm going to be honest with you, that's a pretty legit bullpen that they have assembled right there. No Yuki Matsui. That's the first thing that I noticed on this particular list. No Yuki Matsui for this particular series, which we talked about the last couple of weeks. We didn't think Yuki Matsui was probably going to make the playoff roster. Not the way he pitched all season. They go with the young player in David Morgan, no playoff experience. The young player in Bradley Rodriguez, no playoff experience. That's very interesting. Where playoff experience is very telling. Playoff experience is a huge factor. You're going with 2 young arms in the bullpen. Guys that have never played in the playoffs before. Bradley Rodriguez has some incredible stuff. I don't know if I necessarily want to see Bradley Rodriguez in a high leverage situation, but it's all hands on deck from the pitching staff. The other thing, and obviously the most notable thing for a lot of fans out there when you look at the wild card roster for the Padres, 3 catchers. Elias Diaz not ready to go for the wild card. So they bring up Luis Campusano, and Martin Maldonado is back, baby. Martin Maldonado is back. That guy's like a cockroach. You can't get rid of him. He's just around. Did they not say that? How much they valued Martin Maldonado? Martin Maldonado's been hanging around the Arizona Complex League, and guess what? He's ready to go, baby. Martin Maldonado. Everybody remember the last time Martin Maldonado played at Wrigley Field? Anybody remember that? Hit a bomb to left. Hey. Never know. You got that veteran experience behind the plate if you need somebody late defensively. It is expected that Freddie Fermin will start all 3 games at catcher for the Padres. That is expected. But you have Martin Maldonado available. I think they could use him in terms of helping in the dugout. I don't necessarily want to see him as a pinch hitter late in the game, but he could potentially be a player that can help out defensively late in a game. And he knows this staff very well. And he knows this bullpen really well. So maybe Freddie Fermin starts the game, and you got a lead, and Martin Maldonado comes in, and you still have Luis Camposano just in case. I'm not super concerned about carrying 3 catchers. I think it's very interesting, but I'm not super concerned about the Padres carrying 3 catchers. Now, infielders, most of the guys we knew. Bogarts, Machado, Arise, Iglesias, Cronenworth, Ryan O'Hearn obviously makes the team. They decided to go with Mason McCoy instead of Wagner. Interesting choice. I don't know how much more Mason McCoy brings defensively. He's been okay defensively. He's obviously not that big of a player in terms of like a bat late. Maybe he can run a little bit. They brought him in, obviously, for some extra defensive help. And then in the outfield, it's 4 players. It's Merrill, it's Tatis, it's Sheets, and it's Bryce Johnson. That is your 2025 wild card roster for the San Diego Padres. Your 2025 wild card roster for the San Diego Padres. Cease, King, Morgan, Rodriguez, Darvish, Miller, Peralta, Suarez, Estrada, Morejon, Pivetta, Vasquez is your pitching staff. Your catchers, Camposano, Fermin, Maldonado. Your infielders, Arise, Iglesias, Bogarts, Machado, O'Hearn, Cronenworth, McCoy. Your outfielders, Johnson, Merrill, Sheets, Fernando Tatis. That is your 2025 wild card roster. Your lineup is set. Leading off for the Padres and playing right field, Fernando Tatis Jr. Batting second and at first base is Luis Arise. Batting third and playing third is Manny Machado. Batting cleanup and roaming center field is Jackson Merrill. Batting fifth and at shortstop, Xander Bogaerts. Batting sixth, the DH today is Ryan O'Hearn. Batting seventh and in left field, Gavin Sheets. Jake Cronenworth bats eighth and plays second base. Freddie Fermin is the catcher and will bat ninth for your San Diego Padres, catching Nick Pivetta, who is on the mound, trying to win game one and set yourself up for success. Whoever wins game one, statistically, percentage-wise, usually wins this series. This is a very important game. I almost consider this a win-or-go-home game, if you will. Got to be able to take game one. We'll talk more about this in a little bit. Detroit and Cleveland are underway. We will try to get you updates on that as we go about. Playoff baseball has begun in Major League Baseball over in Cleveland. Detroit has struck first. They got a 1-0 lead in the top of the first inning with 2 outs against the Guardians. More to come with that. But when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, we have Greg Amsinger from MLB Network to break down this series as well as the rest of Major League Baseball as we get you all the playoff coverage you need, leading you into the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show with Sam Levitt right after the end of our show right here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I'm Chelsea Messenger, helping you beat the books with the PetMGM Network. Play of the day in postseason baseball is Tigers-Guardians first 5 innings under 3.5 runs. Both pitchers going today have great numbers in this matchup. Tariq Skubal against the Guardians this year has pitched 28 innings while only allowing 2 runs. Gavin Williams has thrown 17 innings while only giving up 2 runs and has 21 strikeouts against the Tigers in his last 2 starts. Bet smarter, beat the books, download the BetMGM app. Please gamble responsibly.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play.
Jack here. Did you know my $3.49 sourdough scramblers are available all day? Toasted sourdough with bacon or sausage, scrambled eggs, and melty cheese. Yum. All for just $3.49. Get so much more. Plus tax. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary.
Welcome to Jack in the Box.
Introducing Lineage Watch Company, an American watch brand proudly owned and operated here in San Diego. Lineage watches are more than just timepieces. They're a celebration of American craftsmanship, designed, engineered, and purpose-built in the USA. Lineage's watches are uniquely powered by American movements. Define your legacy today with the Lineage timepiece at lineagewatchco.com. That's lineagewatchco.com. Lineage Watch Company, the official timepiece of the San Diego Padres radio network.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 0000466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
Hey, it's Ben Woods here, reminding you that San Diego's best place to play cards is also its closest. 7 Mile Casino offers Texas Hold'em poker, California-style blackjack, high gal poker, and baccarat.
Make sure you get in on the weekend for their award-winning brunch from Sammy's.
It's so easy to get to, you don't have to drive into the East County. Just head down the 5 freeway to Chula Vista, get off Bay Boulevard right there on San Diego Bay. It's our place. Make it your 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Mostly sunny and breezy, highs mostly in the 70s.
The Scraby Show is available in podcast form. You can listen to the full show or jump to your favorite moments by searching for The Scraby Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to the Braden Surprenant Show. We get you ready for Padres and Cubs coming up in just about a couple of hours now. We got the pregame show coming up just after us. Exciting times here in San Diego. And to join us for a wonderful day in Major League Baseball, it's the start of playoff baseball. He's an MLB Network host, Greg Amsinger. You see him on MLB Tonight and on the national pregame show throughout the postseason and World Series. Greg, what's going on? It's got to be like Christmas morning for you guys over there at MLB Network.
This is my 17th year enjoying day one of the playoffs. So when I wake up, I'm giddy. I was in the gym today at 6 a.m. and I am not a morning person. But on the first day of the postseason, you better believe I'm like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
We're excited here in San Diego. Obviously, it's the first time in a long time that the Padres have made the postseason in back-to-back seasons. Obviously, a lot of fans want to take the sour taste out of their mouth of last year getting shut out for 24 straight innings. But this is a Cubs team that has some guys that can mash. But from a national perspective, Greg, how do you guys viewing this series between the Padres and the Cubs?
It's the battle of two great bullpens, but yet they're polar opposite. It's the weirdest thing ever. You got these reclamation projects in Chicago, whether it's Keller, whether it's Pomerantz, whether it's Steel Bar. They're all over the age of 35. But yet they found it again because Craig Counsell can accumulate outgetters, and he's been using it. Daniel Palencia is 25 years old. He is who they want to be their closer, but he just came back from injury. We'll see how effective he is. The starting pitching is an issue for both of these teams. So it's the battle of the bullpens, but there is no bullpen quite like the San Diego Padres. If I was going to do a list of the most dominant players in the postseason right now, the most dominant, how they are attacking the opponent. Aaron Judge would be number 2, and he's been red hot the last 14 games of the year. He has 10 home runs. It's crazy how good he's been. Mason Miller is the most dominant human in the postseason. His 17K per 9 as a member of the San Diego Padres is unthinkable. He will be used in every high leverage situation. I think he's a guy that once they have the lead after 3 or 4 innings, they might go to him for 2, just to give that lineup 2 innings to add on to the lead. Mason Miller is the most dominant arm going in the month of October, and the Padres have him. That's a major advantage in this series for San Diego.
We're talking with MLB Network host Greg Amsinger here on the Braden Surprenant Show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. You can watch Greg, Harold Reynolds, and Dan Plesac throughout October on MLB Network's Emmy award-winning MLB Tonight, the national pregame show throughout the postseason and World Series, including tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time. You talked about the starting pitching. Obviously, both bullpens have done very well. A lot of people in San Diego a little shaky about seeing Dylan Cease roll out there in a Padres uniform in Game 2. Mike Schilt announced it yesterday. He has had a lot of success against the Cubs at Wrigley, a team that drafted him before he made his hay as the White Sox pitcher. I know he hasn't had a great year, but Greg, what have you guys seen at MLB Tonight at a Dylan Cease, and what do you think about him starting Game 2 for the Padres?
I look at baseball as a tale of 2 seasons. The marathon is 162. You need Nick Pivetta for 162 to win over 162. Then you have the sprint, which is a completely different style of baseball. That is where you want guys on the mound who have incredible spin, incredible velo. You do not want the ball in play. Dylan Cease fits the sprint. I don't know if he fits the regular season, but because he's got so much swing and miss and so much spin that I think teams are still going to value him highly when he becomes a free agent at the end of the year. So I don't mind this because you're looking for someone who's going to be able to keep the ball off the barrel for 3 or 4 innings. That's all you want from Dylan Cease. And then you're unleashing the hounds of the best bullpen in baseball. The San Diego Padres have it. So I'm fine with this. During the regular season, you want Dylan Cease to give you 6 innings. That's not in his makeup. It's not what he's good at. This is a perfect role for him. Start Game 2 of a postseason series against a lineup that tried to find it again. The last week of the regular season, the Cubs started to come out of hibernation, but this was the best offense in the first half of the year. Second half, it got weird. Their best 3 players either were battling injury or massive slumps. Some of those guys started to get hot at the end, but you're going to want swing and miss. And Dylan Cease has that. I'm totally cool with him going Game 2.
You talked about a tale of 2 seasons. You had the marathon and the sprint, and you've covered baseball a long time. You've worked with a lot of great baseball players as analysts on your shows, and everybody talks about how different playoff baseball is. You've covered the playoffs a lot, as mentioned before. How much do teams with playoff experience, how much more success do they usually have than teams that don't have playoff experience? Because this year for the Padres, they got a lot of guys on their roster that have actually played in the postseason before.
Look, this is an organization that's been in the playoffs for the last 6 years. The Manny Machado era in San Diego, there's been a lot of October memories. And some of them have been bad because, look, that scoreless streak to end the series against the Los Angeles Dodgers was frustrating, but it felt like the World Series. That actually felt like the 2 best teams in baseball went head-to-head. Not the Dodgers and the Yankees, it was the Dodgers and the Padres. That experience and Mike Schilt being such a terrific leader, he's like a big-time Division I football coach, the way he can verbally motivate the troops. I think experience is incredibly important. I wish the Reds all the best. They're the biggest Cinderella story in this postseason because they don't have the postseason experience. Now, the manager does, and Terry Francona. But people think the Guardians are the big Cinderella because they were 15.5 games out of first place. They came back to win the AL Central. I say no to that because they're used to being in October. They won the division last year. So a lot of guys remembered what that feels like. So I'm with you on the whole postseason experience. I think it's massively important. The Padres have a lot of guys that remember what it's like. The pressure cooker situation, grinding out at bat, trying to get the punch out on a 3-2 count when there's a runner at third base that could tie the game with less than 3 out or less than 2 outs. So all of that stuff matters, and I think it's going to be advantage San Diego, especially against a Cubs team where there aren't as many players with postseason pedigree.
We're talking with Greg Amsinger. He's an MLB Network host here on the Braden Surprenant Show, and we've talked a lot about Padres and Cubs. There's a lot of great series to start the playoffs this for this wild card series. What are some of the biggest storylines standing out to you? Obviously, Tigers and Guardians, very important. Red Sox Yankees is always a bloodbath, and then as you mentioned, kind of the underdog with the Reds, and then the big bad Dodgers, who are the reigning World Series champions. Couldn't ask for anything better if you're a Major League Baseball fan.
Yeah, to me, I think the headlines would be ranked this way. Number one is for today. We're not even going to talk about the teams that got buys. Let those teams be on the back burner for a moment. Can Aaron Judge continue being the best offensive player in baseball? You notice I didn't say most valuable player in baseball. The best offensive player in baseball in the month of October. That's always been the big question, the bugaboo for him. And you don't want him to fall into that Barry Bonds brand of a superstar during the regular season. Here comes the sprint, and all of a sudden he starts to scuffle. So can Aaron Judge figure it out this postseason for the New York Yankees? Then are the Los Angeles Dodgers, are they going to remind us that they are by far the best team in all of baseball? Are they going to blow out their opponents all the way through? There's a chance that could happen, and I'm not even making that up. Otani, Betts, Freeman, they're all playing pretty well at the end of the year. Shohei is going to be a Game 3 starter. His stuff is as good as any pitcher in the world. Blake Snell going Game 1, last 3 starts, 0.47 ERA. I think the bullpen is a question for me for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Roki Sasaki could be overpowering if he likes that role, but Tanner Scott has been a bit worrisome. Other than that, will the Reds be baseball's true Cinderella? Because that's what they were to back end their way into the postseason picture. And then let's see if the Cleveland Guardians can continue this insane run and win 27 out of 32 games, which is what it's going to take to get them to the American League Championship Series. So there's so many great storylines. It's the best moment of the calendar year for any sportsman because you have all kinds of great stuff taking place in other sports as well. But please hone in on what's going on. 4 games on day 1 of the postseason in Major League Baseball. There's nothing better.
Greg, I got to ask you, obviously, we're talking with Greg Amsinger, MLB Network host. You can watch Greg, Harold Reynolds, and Dan Plesac throughout October on MLB Network's Emmy Award-winning MLB Tonight, the national pregame show throughout the postseason World Series, including tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time. I do watch the show. You guys look like you have so much fun talking about baseball, going to highlights with Harold, Dan, yourself. The conversations are great. For somebody, for the fans that love watching your guys' show, take us a little behind the scenes of what it's like to put that show on with those guys and the rotating kind of panel you guys usually have. What's that experience like? Because I know you are a baseball fan. It's got to be probably one of the coolest jobs.
It's an amazing job. There's only one thing I love as much as baseball, and that is television. I love live television. And I think like a producer, but we have great producers. Chris Collins is our producer. Our coordinating producer is Chris Rollenbeck. And these guys are seasoned veterans, and they're as kooky as I am. So we have a group text, and we'll come up with all these harebrained segments that are just so much fun. For example, on our show today, I think a major theme happens to be all of the injuries that every single playoff team is dealing with. So I do a Greg's list where I rank the most significant injured postseason players because this is something that we need to follow. Like Bo Bichette, he's got a knee injury. Is he even going to play shortstop? Will he be a DH only? Like, that's a massive injury and a storyline. And there's just so many of them. Trey Turner's hamstring. Is he going to be able to steal any bases? Because if he doesn't run, the Phillies become very base to base, which is that's how you could beat the Philadelphia Phillies. So they were trying to think of a way of making this segment come to life because there's really no good video when you talk about injuries. So it's like, wait a minute. What if remember the old board game Operation? And you know that guy that would have no clothes on that looked like a bit of a clown with no makeup on, and his hair was part of the middle, and that was the character of the board game Operation. Let's put that in the big screen and then point all the injuries on the human body, like Jazz Chisholm's dealing with a left forearm injury. So you have the forearm taken care of. You got a couple left leg injuries, a couple right leg injuries. Unfortunately, Nick Lodolo has a groin injury. We were going to go through all the different injuries for all these different players that are playing in October baseball because it's a theme and how these guys perform. I mean, Lucas Giolito, that's a massive elbow injury for the Boston Red Sox. So unfortunately, I hate bringing up injuries, but because they're widespread all over October, how do we do it in a fun way that's a bit more lighthearted? So you'll see that image of the Operation character on our show today. It's going to be fun.
It sounds like it's going to be fun. Greg, we appreciate the time. Thanks again for joining us, and have a fun playoffs. I know it's fun to cover.
Enjoy October baseball. We'll talk soon.
Greg Amsinger, MLB Network host. You can watch him with Harold Reynolds, Dan Plesac throughout October on MLB Network's Emmy Award-winning MLB Tonight national pregame show throughout the postseason World Series, including tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show. We're going to get to a quick break. When we come back, final preview of Padres and Cubs before we pass it along to the pregame EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Quinn and Chris on the Fan.
You guys take your guys.
The quarterback is fine, but you don't make him the number 2 overall pick if he's a sleeper.
Not only that, you don't need a sleeper when you're a three-team lead. There's plenty of really good quarterbacks out there.
We only had 3 people drafting, Scream. What's the guy's name? Tiny Mel, who's going to be
Tiny Mel. No, T. Miles.
Listen to Quinn and Chris weekdays from 2 to 6 on 97.3 The Fan. The Fan.
The best way to enjoy Padres baseball is by becoming a season ticket member. With memberships currently sold out, join the Padres On Deck membership waitlist to secure your spot in line to select seats once they become available.
The Padres are headed to the postseason in 2025.
While you wait, season ticket members enjoy priority access to Padres tickets, including opening day, discounts on concessions and merchandise, invitations to exclusive events, and more. Become a Padres On Deck waitlist member today. Visit padres.com/waitlist.
Daily life routine brings on a whole bunch to worry about.
Worrying about your car's value shouldn't be one of them. Come in today at Hyundai of El Cajon, where you can drive a new Hyundai for half the price.
Why pay for the entire car? Get the whole car for half the monthly payment.
Brand new Hyundai Elantra SEL, $199 per month lease. Tucson SEL, just $259.
But only at Hyundai of El Cajon.
On approved credit, not all will qualify. Plus tax, title license, and $150 title and registration processing fee. Rebates and incentives to dealer. 36 month, $38.95 due. 10,000 miles per year through HML. Full expires October 1st.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, it's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
West Coast Men's Health is now offering testosterone replacement therapy. So when you're ready to feel like yourself and put ED behind you, give us a call at 619-826-6631. That's 619-826-6631.
It's complicated. These days, that's how people even describe their relationship status. When it comes to the latest complexities in your car, it's gotten really complicated. The experts at AMCO undergo the most rigorous training to stay on top of the latest car technologies, so there's nothing we can't fix. Well, except for that complicated relationship. When it comes to that, you're on your own. AA, MCO. Check engine light on, we'll check it for free.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Savannah.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credits experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended. Balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement. iPhone 17 Pro, 256 gigs, $1,099.99, and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Paid for by term provider. Premiums will vary. Plans depend on age, location, and other factors. Visit BigLoot.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, So you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-555-1509. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555-1509. That's 800-555-1509.
10:36 on a playoff Tuesday. That's probably the worst rejoin song that we can get in the rotation today. Slower song.
Well, you
gotta get people fired up, Frank. Gotta get people fired up. Big thanks to Greg Amsinger joining the show today. That was fun. It's a good conversation. Let's lock back into Padres baseball. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, leading you up to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show in just a matter of, about 25 minutes, just under 30 minutes before we pass it along to Sam Levitt, who is live from Chicago, talking. He'll be ready to go get us ready for the playoff games in Chicago, a best-of-3 series. MLB playoffs has already gotten underway. Detroit and Cleveland. The Tigers of Detroit. I had to say it. Detroit. They're up 1-0 on Cleveland in the top of the third inning. They have runners on first and second and nobody out. And what has been kind of a lackluster atmosphere in Cleveland in terms of like the crowd, but they're all of a sudden a little nervous here early as they have given Tarek Skubal a 1-0 lead. The Tigers have. So, talks a little bit more about playoff baseball. Playoff baseball is a different animal. Playoff baseball is something that it's hard to explain to guys that haven't played in it before what it's like. And there's going to be a lot of players that haven't been a part of this yet, at least for Chicago. The Cubs, and at least for the Cubs, and we're going to break this game down a little bit more here, kind of finishing up the show. This marks the team's first trip to the postseason since 2020, which came at the tail end of a run of 5 postseason bursts in a 6-year span. That run included 3 division titles, 3 runs to the National League Championship Series, and the historic, obviously, 2016 World Series triumph over the Cleveland team that we were just talking about. Following a 2-year rebuilding period, the Cubs established a foundation with a new veteran core led by Ian Happ, Nico Horner, Dansby Swanson, players that have played in the postseason. Infused some younger talent, highlighted by dynamic center fielder Pete Crow Armstrong, and worked to add star power with the pickup of Kyle Tucker, who has playoff experience. The result, a 92-win showing that netted the first playoff home games with fans in the stands since 2018. The Cubs will be looking for the first postseason series win since advancing to the NLCS in 2017. Yada, 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 yada. As for the Padres, finished runner-up to the Dodgers, the NL West, and to the Cubs in the NL wildcard race, but the team is entering its 4th playoff run in the past 6 years. It reached the NLDS in 2024, the NLCS in 2022. This year's run goes through the NL Central with the Cubs in the first round and the division champion Brewers awaiting the winner in the NLDS. Today's game will start at 12:08 Pacific time. You can hear it right here on 97.3 The Fan and it is on TV on Channel 10, ABC. It's on Broadcast Network today. On the airwaves. You can get it with an antenna. Nick Pivetta going against Matthew Boyd. Let's meet Matthew Boyd for a second. We've seen him pitch before. He's 14-8 with a 3.21 ERA this season. He was sensational in the first half, pitched his way onto his first All-Star team, and turning a tidy 2.20 ERA in his first 20 outings for the Northsiders. Veteran lefty has some mixed results down the stretch, a 5.16 ERA in his last 11 starts. But he was solid in the last regular season start on Wednesday. Boyd allowed 2 runs on 11 1/3 innings in 2 outings against the Padres in April. That included 6 scoreless innings on April 5th at Wrigley Field. A little bit different of a lineup the Padres had at Wrigley Field back on April 5th. A year ago, Boyd had a 0.77 ERA in 3 playoff games to help Cleveland reach the American League Championship Series. A guy with a little bit of playoff experience. As for Nick Pivetta, he has been the Padres' steadiest starter this season by a mile. He has earned the Game 1 nod, but his postseason experience is limited. He had made 3 appearances for the 2021 Red Sox, posting a 2.63 ERA. Pivetta sports one of the major's best fastballs and pairs it with a couple of put-away breaking pitches. Signed a 4-year deal with the Padres on the first day of full squad workouts this spring, a move which has since proven to be one of the best of the 2024-2025 offseason. Nick Pivetta, Matthew Boyd, today's starting pitching matchup. Frank, what do you got to see out of the Padres? What are we looking forward in this Padres-Cubs series?
To take the pressure off. The pressure is on right now. It's on both of these teams. Game 1 sounds stupid because it's a playoff series, but Game 1 is a must-win game. Because if you don't win Game 1, now you're pressured. Now you're fighting for Game 2 in order to just force a Game 3. If you win, it takes the pressure off. You know you have a little bit of wiggle room for error. It takes a lot of the stress off of the game as far as Dylan Cease is concerned, which I know for you guys out there is quite large right now. So you need to come out swinging. You need to come out firing here today in order to give yourself and earn that wiggle room tomorrow. So that is the key. Today you have to win. Otherwise you put your back against the wall in a very, very serious way.
Playoff baseball is all about pressure. And we remember what Jackson Merrill said at the beginning of the year. We apply pressure, we don't feel pressure. Right?
Yep.
Something along those lines.
You got to apply it today.
This is where you apply the pressure, is in Game 1. And when you apply pressure in Game 1, you start to see teams rattle a little bit. I mean, you look at right now in Cleveland. Cleveland all of a sudden is down 1-0 and the pressure is on from their starting pitcher. He knows he has to make a bunch of pitches. Even just getting that 1-0 lead early as the away team in this series flips the pressure. You feel a little bit calmer. It's like going out there on kickoff and you got to get that first hit out of the way, right? You got to get that first at bat out of the way. You got to get that first play defensively out of the way. You got to calm the butterflies a little bit. And what happens is if you don't calm it early and things start to go awry, all of a sudden it starts to get a little bit more heightened and now you're playing with pressure. And baseball is a sport you cannot be successful in playing with pressure. Golf is the other one. You want to try to calm yourself down as much as possible. And right now, Detroit, again with a 1-0 lead, has a runner on third with 2 outs in the top of the third, and every pitch has been a pressure pitch from Williams.
And Kerry Carpenter's Carpenter was putting together a fantastic at bat. He was 0-2, fought back to 3-2, and just swung through a high fastball. But that was a very, very good at bat from Kerry Carpenter there with Baez on third.
And it's a game of momentum. So now Cleveland can calm down a little bit and relax and be ready to go hit. But now it's 7, 8, 9 in the order. And again, this is how this game is going to play out between the Padres and the Cubs. I mean, this is a very generic keys of the game, and why I don't really like keys of the game for baseball, because they're kind of the same keys every single day. Score early, get the starter out of the game, make it a bullpen game. That definitely needs to be the case.
Do the good.
Yeah, exactly.
Do more of the good stuff and less of the bad stuff.
Sometimes the ball's going to bounce your way. Sometimes it's not. When it comes to Boyd, we talked about like his last handful of starts have not been very good. His last start last Wednesday was good. As mentioned before, you just saw him pitch the other day, watching him go against the Mets. What do you see out of Matthew Boyd as of late, Frank?
He's a solid pitcher. He's going to be in and around the strike zone all game long. Don't expect too much hard contact. He is a very, very good pitcher and a very good choice for the Cubbies to go in game one.
You look at some of his, recent, and then of course my screen goes black when that's the case. Game logs for Matthew Boyd. Okay, again, started the season very good, but it's not like he's been unhittable this year. I know he was an all-star, but his second half and the second half of the Cubs is not nearly as great.
No.
I mean, if you look at, and he said he was solid in his last start. His last start, he went 5 1/3 and allowed 2 earned runs on 2 hits and gave up a bomb. He has given up a home run in each of his last 4 starts. He has given up a home run in every start in every start but one since August 14th. If you look at his numbers since August 8th, when he pitched against St. Louis, the Cubs are 4-5 in Matthew Boyd starts. He has given up 30 earned runs. He has given up 8 home runs. His ERA is a 5.51 in his last 8 starts. He's 3-4 in decisions. 13 walks, 36 strikeouts. His fielding independent pitching is a 4.83. His batting average on balls in play against is 286. And you look at him in his last handful of starts, again, hasn't been very spectacular. Not like it was at the beginning part of the season or the stretch that he had right before the All-Star break. I mean, right for the All-Star break, it was shutout after shutout after shutout. And then after the All-Star break, Milwaukee tagged him for 5. He was able to shut out Baltimore in 7 innings, and then 3 earned runs against St. Louis, 2 against Toronto, 4 against Milwaukee, 5 against the Giants, 4 against the Rockies. Nats got him for 2. Tampa got him for 4. Pirates got him for 4. And the Mets got him for 2. He's not going to be unhittable, but you can't let him get into a groove.
And he does have playoff experience with the Cleveland Guardians. 0.77 ERA in 3 playoff games. And this is one of the, if you want to face a guy, it's one of the better guys to face in this Cubs rotation because the Padres have seen him. They've seen him twice. They saw him pitch in April both times through 11 1/3 innings in 2 outings against the Padres, including 6 scoreless at Wrigley. So there's your bummer.
His playoff experience all from last year with Cleveland. He had 2 games against Detroit. He started game 2. He started game 5. In game 2 against Detroit, 4 2/3, no runs, 4 hits. In game 5 against Detroit, a 7-3 winner for Cleveland. He went 2 innings and only allowed a hit, didn't get used too much. Against the Yankees in the ALCS, that was one of the games that the Guardians won in extra innings. He went 5 innings, 1 run. It was unearned on 2 hits. He was locked in the postseason last year. But again, the last couple of starts for Boyd have not been that spectacular, but you can't let starting pitching get into a groove if you're the Padres offense, an offense that looked a lot better over the weekend than they had in the last 2 months.
Yeah, they looked like they were getting ramped back up. They didn't want to have to flip the switch today. They wanted to get the switch flipped a little bit early, which, fair play to them as Skubal is dealing right now. He struck out both guys he's faced in the bottom of the 3rd inning right now. But the Cubs offense right now is going to be something that the Padres are going to have to worry about. Seiya Suzuki closed out the regular season with, what were his numbers? I wrote his numbers here. Suzuki was 245. It's amazing how I'm going through these numbers. It's amazing how similar the numbers were for these guys as far as batting average. Dansby Swanson, 244. PCA, 247. Seiya Suzuki, 245. Kyle Tucker being the outlier at 266. Seiya Suzuki ended the season 32 homers, 103 RBIs. He homered in each of his last 4 games. And Kyle Tucker, who had the issue with his hand back at the beginning of April, we were on air when he returned to the lineup. So he has played coming into this playoff series. You know what PCA is going to do. He's going to be quick. He had 35 stolen bases this year. Deceptive power. He did hit 31 home runs this year. So Pete Crow Armstrong and the speed that he has chasing down balls in center field, the Cubs lineup is nothing to shake a stick at. You also have Dansby Swanson, Ian Happ, who's got power, Nico Horner, who's a very, very good second baseman. So you're going to have your hands full, both on the pitching staff side and the offense side. The bullpen, though, is if you're going to get the Cubbies, you're going to get them in the bullpen.
Go ask Six in the chat beat me to it, but I was going to say last year, I wonder how much it was Boyd being fresh at the end of the year. He only made 8 starts last year coming off of an injury. In the regular season, he was 2-2 with a 2.72 ERA. He made 8 starts in the regular season, and in the postseason, he made 3 starts. And one of those starts, he only went 2 innings. I mean, he threw 39 2/3 innings last year in the regular season. So maybe that was a major factor because before then, he hadn't had too many years in which he had really, really good numbers. I mean, the year before that in Detroit, when he was a Tiger, he was 5-5 with a 5.45 ERA. The year before that in Seattle, only appeared in 10 games as a bullpen piece. But as a starter, Matthew Boyd has had over a 4 ERA in every single year, but 2021, when it was a 3.89, and then this year in 2025 with a 3.21. And again, that started off to a great start. And the year before, last year, as mentioned, only 8 starts. This is probably the most fresh he has ever started a season, was at the beginning of the season. And as the year went on and the last couple of starts, second half of the season, he started getting tagged a little bit more. He started to regress back to the mean. So maybe that's a major factor. I think you look at the playoff numbers that he had, could him being fresh last year add to those results more and kind of skew them a little bit? That might be the case.
Yeah, it very well might be. And that's something that we're watching on the Padres as well. We saw it with Robert Suarez last year, where he started to falter towards the back end of the season because of how many innings he had pitched, the most in his career. Michael King was that way last year and unfortunately never really got going this year. So he's going to be in that Matthew Boyd position from last year where he is fresh. He's thrown not a lot of innings. He is going to be rolling this year. A couple of things. You want a couple stats?
Yes, of course.
From team stats wise?
Sure.
Of course. We all know what happened in 1984. NLCS.
Cub Busters.
That is the only time these two teams have met in the postseason. And it went to 5 games. The Padres, wild card series, 3-0 all time in the wild card series, including 2022, where they went on the road and beat somebody. I forget who right now.
So they beat the Cardinals in 3. They lost that first game.
Yes.
They lost that first game. I remember I was at that game, which is surprising. Nobody was at the game. I was at that game where Chris Paddock got absolutely shelled in the first inning. And the Padres came back and won that series with Craig Stammen getting a clutch start in the middle of that series. So the Padres have done it losing game 1 in 3. They've done it winning game 1 in 3, and they've done it in 2. I mean, they've done it in every way that you can win a wild card series. Try to keep the mojo going. I mean, that was against Mike Schilt's ball club in 2020.
Those are your 3 times you've been to the wild card. You have not been unsuccessful. You have not made it past the wild card round in this new format. The Cubs have hosted the Marlins in a wild card series in 2020, but they were swept in 2 games by a combined score of 7-1. Chicago's only run in that series came by a home run by Ian Happ in the opening game. So the Padres have a lot of experience and a lot of success in this exact situation. The Cubs don't. and have a loss under their belt.
And that was 5 years ago now.
Yeah, and that was the expanded playoff because of COVID.
To go back to Boyd and being fresh, just to put it in perspective, I mean, I don't think nobody thinks, right, that Michael King has thrown a lot of innings this year.
No.
Or played in a lot of games. Michael King this year has 15 starts. He's doubled the amount of starts that Matthew Boyd had last year when he did well in the postseason. He has doubled that. He has 15 starts. He has he's basically doubled his innings as well. This year, it's 73 and a third innings. Matthew Boyd had 39.1. 3.44 ERA for Michael King. Maybe Michael King has a fun postseason like Matthew Boyd did last year for Cleveland. I just think there's a little bit of interesting caveats to that. I mean, if the Padres jump out early, it sucks the life out of the stands. You have to do that too. I mean, that's kind of the football level to this. But we saw some people. We have some people from Michigan that watch our show every day, and when they talk about the Tigers, they're watching the game right now, and they're like, it seems dead in Cleveland starting the game. Tarek Skubal with a one run lead. Got to get Nick Pivetta a lead early. Got to make Matt Boyd have to make pressure pitches today. And you got to put the pressure on Chicago.
And you also have to remember that this is more for tomorrow with Dylan Cease. Gavin Williams faced 5 guys in the first inning, gave up a run. He has been lights out since then.
Mm-hmm.
So just because you get off to a bad start, it looks bad to start the game, doesn't mean it's going to continue that way. He is up to 57 pitches right now. I believe that was just fouled off. 58. He has been lights out ever since that first inning. So especially for tomorrow with Dylan Cease, don't overreact if the first inning goes poorly, because one, that's the most time you're going to have to get it back. And 2, there's always a chance that he can turn it around.
And we'll see what they decide to do with Michael King. I mean, they could piggyback him tomorrow. I think we're just assuming they're going to piggyback him with Dylan Cease tomorrow, but they could also not do that. Dylan Cease goes out and does really well, and the Padres jump out to a lead. You never know if they lose today. Or maybe they don't even need to use Michael King because the Padres have done very well in game 1, and then Dylan Cease does well in game 2, and you let him ride. I mean, there's a lot of different factors that are playing into this. But again, you could see Michael King today. I hope not. I hope he's pitching tomorrow with Dylan Cease, but they're going to go after every single one of these games and early and often, and they're not going to let pitchers wear it out there, especially the starting staff, not when they have the bullpen. That is the biggest asset for the San Diego Padres with, as Greg Amsinger said on this show, what could be the best bullpen. Now, he doesn't have any playoff experience.
No.
Mason Miller's got none. That's the same fact. As much as we want to talk about the Cubs not having playoff experience, that could be a factor with Mason Miller. I'm not 100% sold on Robert Suarez, but I will tell you, Robert Suarez has playoff experience. He's been there and done that before. A lot of these guys have. It's going to be a fun one. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show is up next. Padres baseball at 12:08. For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant. This has been the Braden Surprenant Show. We will be with you tomorrow. Same time, same place, still an hour. Hopefully talking about how the Padres can find their way to Milwaukee. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the game.